Welcome to Sisters in Company Talking About It live show. Hosted by me, Dr. Sharon Cradle and Sherelle Higgins. We will be discussing intriguing, intricate, inspirational, informative, and intelligent topics with our individual twists and talents.
We will present real stories, real solutions, and engage in real talk.
So we invite you to be our company every Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock p.m. as we focus on transcendent thinking that will move you forward. You become the company you keep.
What company do you keep? Oh yeah, we are biological sisters by way of the south side of Chicago. So get ready to keep company with us and our guests as we talk about it.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Sisters in Company Talking About It live show. I'm just going to tell you right now, if you don't know, you better ask somebody about today's show. It is going to be dynamic. Let me just set you up real quick before we get started. This dynamic lady that we have here, Miss Leslie, I'll tell you about her. She has 12 children. She's an officer in the United States Army. She is a spouse of an Army officer. She is a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I always like to say that. That's my favorite part. And she just wears many hats. She's a friend, right? Yeah, she's a daughter, and she is I guess a sibling. Well, we'll talk about that, okay? But let me just tell you, it is going to be such an awesome show that we need you all to go on listenvisionlive.com because we have some photos of her family because you need to see her beautiful and dynamic family. And we also need you to call in to participate, and you already know the number, and the number is 833-202-8255. And we really, really appreciate you calling in and participating with us today. So, I know you're wondering, where is Sherelle? Sherelle is at a family reunion out of state today, and she said she was going to try to call in today and try to participate. But it's so appropriate that we're talking about family and that Sherelle is at a family reunion because Leslie, with her family, can host a family reunion all by herself. So we're going to have some real talk here today. And you know, as we do on this show, we start out with scripture. And the scripture that just kept coming to me all week long, Leslie, is in Genesis chapter 1, where it talks about be fruitful and multiply. And I think that is so appropriate and for what we're going to discuss here today. And so what I would like you to do, Leslie, is introduce yourself to our audience. And before we get started, this is real. She has 5 of her babies here with us today. And Leslie is so committed to honoring her word. She just got off the road coming from South Carolina, and she would not tell me that she was in South Carolina. So we want to lift up prayers for her mom, who went into emergency surgery, and her mom is okay, because had she told me that she was in South Carolina, I would have told her we could have done this on another day. So let's just take a moment of silence for her mom. Thank you. And since we have 5 of her babies here today and her girlfriend, Dawn, who is just a jewel, it's just going to be real because I think, how old is the oldest one here, Leslie?
The oldest one that's here right now, he's 9.
The oldest one is
Just
9,
9.
and the youngest one?
10 weeks.
It's 10 weeks. And so we're going to just let them do what a 9-year-old does and a 10-week-old does. And so whatever happens is what we're going to allow to happen. And what she's going to be on mommy duty, girlfriend duty, and I'm going to step in and do what we do to make sure that the babies are okay. All right? That's just how we're going to flow today. Okay, so introduce yourself to our audience, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. As my beautiful sorority sister said, I am Leslie Lattimore Lorfields. Some affectionately call me Triple L. That makes it a little easier. I know it could be a tongue twister, my name. And I am a Washingtonian from Washington, D.C.
Yes.
Though I like to think I'm a secret Texan by default because we spent so much time in Texas because of the military. And as she stated, we do have 12 wonderful blessings. And my husband, he's Herbert Lorfields, Lieutenant Colonel. He's deployed right now overseas, serving our country.
Yes.
And we are just a rambunctious bunch, and I'm so excited to be here. I'm so humbled by the invite. Thank you so much.
No problem. So let me set the stage and tell you all how I know Leslie. Leslie went to St. Paul's College. And she was a part of the Virginia State University Trojan Battalion.
Mm-hmm.
You all there was a sister
Right.
Relationship, I
Right.
guess.
We were a detachment.
Attachment. Thank you for giving me the proper terminology. And that was at the time that Ira, my husband, was the XO for the Virginia State University
Battalion.
Battalion, right? And so I don't think I knew you then.
No.
Right. And so I met you later on.
Later on.
Yes. And I don't think you and I really connected until we came to your
My ceremony, my promotion.
promotion ceremony. This was earlier this year.
September of 18.
Oh, was it? Oh my goodness.
I know. Lots
September
going
of
on,
18.
right? Flew
And
by.
they had the most beautiful rededication wedding ceremony with their children and family, and it was totally amazing. And I believe it was a Roaring 20s
Yes,
type of
it
ceremony.
was.
Oh,
Great
it was just
Gatsby
amazing.
theme. It was
Yeah, Great
nice.
Gatsby.
We
That's
had a good
exactly
time.
right. And so that's how we reconnected. And from that point on, just kind of watching her and looking at her, I started saying to myself, anytime that I felt like I was tired, I started checking myself. Like, okay, all right. And she and I were just talking about how everything is relative. Right. But when we start looking at our lives and then looking at the lives of other people, it's like, wow. You know, people ask me all the time, well, how do you do what you do? And I'm looking at other people like, well, how do you do what you do?
Right,
so
right.
how do you do what you do?
That's interesting. I was in Miss Veteran America competition a couple of years ago, and that was my talent, basically describing my life. And if I can recall what I said, a lot of prayer and poise.
Yes.
Is how I do what I do. Honestly, a lot of times, I think because I'm so used to it, I'm so used to going and doing, I don't necessarily think about it. And then I go to sleep, and then I wake up, and then I start over. But planning is definitely a factor in what I do. I sort of run my house kind of like the military.
Yeah, I'm sure. And what does that look like?
Because as a mother, if I could just spell it out briefly,
Yes.
M for being a motivator, because I have to motivate my kids to do what they're supposed to do, and multitask.
Yes.
I think I'm probably the queen of multitasking. O, I am an operator, so I run my house like an operation. Mm-hmm. T, tenacious, pretty tenacious. I have to be that way to get it done. H, as a mother, you have to have a heart of gold and a servant's heart for your family. And I will be honest, I'm not always the best servant. Mm-hmm. Okay, if I can just be transparent, I'm human like everyone else, but it isn't. That is key. What letter did I leave off? M-O-T-H-E. Efficiency. I have to try to be the most efficient person that I can be. Otherwise, I'm a little scatterbrained and crazy and not organized, and that's not fun. It brings on unnecessary stress. And then R for resourceful.
Yes.
And being resilient.
Yes.
Because the way my life is set up between being a mom of so many and being a soldier and being married to a soldier, it's challenging. It's not your typical household, I don't think. Mm-hmm. Anyway, for us it's normal because we've been doing it for so long, but outside looking in or getting the questions that people ask me, I realize it's pretty atypical.
Right.
But that's how I do it. A lot of prayer. I have a great support system, i.e. TT Dawn, that's here with us. There's no way I could do it by myself. It truly takes a village to raise my children and to run my household.
Right. And so before we get into, the specifics, one of the things that Leslie and I talked about before we came on air is one of the things I noticed about her is that she gets her hair done, she takes time to get her nails done, and take care of herself. And from the outside looking in, there doesn't seem to be any guilt around that. So talk about that.
None at all.
And that's what impresses me.
Absolutely
because we
none.
know that some mothers feel guilty when they, have to do something for themselves. So talk to the mothers out there in the world about what that looks like for you and why you think it's necessary to do some things for yourself.
I will say I used to feel guilty, and then that changed over time, because what I realized is that me getting my hair done and keeping myself up and my nails, that's part of my diva treatment.
Yes.
I am my own personal therapist through these different activities. I have to take time for me. That includes getting massages. It includes girlfriend time. My children understand that mommy needs her moments, so that helps me to be a better mother to them.
Yes.
What we normally do as women, as moms, we run ourselves. We run, and we forget about us.
Yes.
We forget who we are as people. We forget about the personal goals we may have set, and we've kind of put them to the side because we're too busy mothering, which is great. Mm-hmm. I think motherhood is the most wonderful job there is. However, I think to be the best mom, you must carve out that time for self. It's absolutely necessary.
So you already introduced yourself to our audience and said that you were from Washington, D.C., okay? Mm-hmm. So how many siblings do you have? And tell us about your childhood, because I think that's going to lead us into the conversation of the number of children that you have. Yes.
I am my mom's only baby, so she is absolutely tickled.
Oh, you're an only child.
My mom's only child. I do have two brothers on my dad's side. And we were not raised together. I saw them whenever I was able to see my dad, but it was myself and my mom mainly. So I grew up as an only child, and there were times I'd be like, gosh, I wish I had some company. Or I wish I had someone to help me wash these dishes. I don't want to do this by myself, or someone else to blame if there's something happening in the house, because it was only me.
Yes, yes.
Now, I don't recall. It's interesting because when I was home this weekend with my mom, apparently I said this when I was a little girl, that I would have at least 10 children. I don't remember.
Okay.
And my college friends said, so apparently I said it somewhere that I would at least have double digits. But I think a lot of it, I said 3 or 4 initially. So how we got to this many, only God knows. But I don't know. I think big families are fun. I listen to my husband and his dynamics, because
I was going to ask you about your
husband. He's the oldest of 6.
He's the oldest of 6.
So
Okay.
when my children start going through their sibling things, I'm looking at them sideways like, is it really that deep?
Yes.
And he'll say, well, yeah, it is.
Yes.
That's how it is with siblings. So because I didn't have any siblings in the home
So
with
you
me,
have nothing to compare
some
it
of the
with.
dynamics I truly don't understand. So we have that balance with each other, where if someone wants to be left alone in solitude, let them do that, because I did enjoy my time with myself.
Right.
But then when they have their sibling interesting dynamics going on, he'll say,
You can relate to that.
That's kind of how it is. So I don't know.
Was your mom an only child?
No, she is the baby of 6.
Okay, so she's the baby of
Herself.
6. And do you, just in conversation with her, do you know why she only had one child? Was that a choice, or it just happened that way?
I think it just happened that way.
Okay.
And then I'll be transparent and tell this story. When I was about, I think, 16, she had mentioned she wanted to adopt a 13-year-old young man. I just thought, oh no, mommy, I don't want you to do that. I've had you by myself all this time. And in hindsight, that was selfish on my part. Teenager wanting what teenager wants. And I think my mom probably sacrificed a little bit. I never really discussed with her how she really felt about it, if that's something she really wanted to do. I was 16, you know. But she honored it and just stopped the process. But hindsight, if I had it to do over, I would have welcomed that.
Yes.
Yeah, because now that I have my own children, there are many children out there who truly need a good home and parents to love them, and But no, it's just me, and we enjoyed every moment of it.
And so you left Washington, D.C. to go to St. Paul's College. Why?
Well,
how did that happen?
You're applying for school, and I wanted to go to Mary Washington University, or I wanted to go to James Madison University, and the top schools in the state, the well-known. Over the summer, we kept getting paperwork from St. Paul's College, and I thought, I've never heard of St. Paul, so we kept throwing the paper in the trash. And then my mom, a few months later, she was driving in Lawrenceville, Virginia, and got a speeding ticket.
Oh, wow.
When she got her speeding ticket, she saw the sign, St. Paul's College. So she said, it was during the week. So she veered off and went on campus and visited and spoke to some of the administrators and gave them my preliminaries, my grades, my test scores. They said, well, your daughter could get a full scholarship. Because at that time, the school I was going to go to, the money didn't come through. Okay. So I didn't know if I was going to ever go to school, honestly. So she went and said, oh, you can get a full scholarship, and came back and told me, and I thought, well, Mom, I never heard of the school. Well, you can get a full scholarship. You know?
Right.
And so that was that conversation. So we applied, I got in, submitted all of my things, and sure enough, I got a full scholarship, and then eventually ROTC came along, and that was money on top of money, so it was actually a blessing. St. Paul's was nowhere in my plan, but it was God's plan.
That's exactly
and it was a perfect plan. I had a ball there. I was groomed and mentored and well prepared for the world, and I love my school. Unfortunately, it's closed now, but we still get together and have our own homecomings and things of that nature and keep our memories alive.
So you went to St. Paul's, but how did ROTC come about? Were you connected with the military?
Absolutely not. Donna and I, we were talking about this on the way here. I have an aunt that was in the Army, but I didn't find that out until like years as an adult. So I knew nothing about the military other than green outfits with guns and you go to war. So as far as ROTC was concerned, I was doing my thing as a freshman walking around, and then the cadre, Virginia State, hey, do you want to get an ROTC? You can do this. I said, oh, no. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get dirty.
Sounds like me.
I don't want to wear that green stuff and that green stuff on your face. I don't want to do that. I had no interest. So I turned it down the first year.
Yes.
Sophomore year, they came back again.
Yes.
This time they had a hook.
Yes.
Well, you can go to camp for 6 weeks and we'll pay you $700. And I thought, wait a minute, $700, 6 weeks? Well, that's over $100 a week. I'm a broke college student. I'll go to your camp.
Yes.
So I went to basic camp in 1995, fell in love with the idea of leadership.
Yes.
Fast forward, here I am, 21 years in.
Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Did you?
And then, of course, I met your husband, who truly was a gem, and he took such great care of us.
That is wonderful. Yeah. Now, did you share your rank with our audience? Because I think that's a big
I
deal.
did not. I'm also a lieutenant colonel alongside my husband.
Black girls rock. I'm just talking. That's what I'm talking about.
And I'm grateful because it was a journey. It was a journey. Many know my story. I had a situation to occur while I was in the military, and I was delayed, but not denied.
That's right.
God did what He did, and His timing was perfect.
Yes.
And we're enjoying the fruits of the labor.
Yes.
And I would just tell people, keep pushing, keep pressing, and walk in your purpose.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, it was going to work out for your
He
benefit.
has the final say.
No doubt. He has the final say.
absolutely.
And I just want you all to look at her. Isn't she stunning? Isn't the spirit just comes out of her, her smile, everything, and so that you know that there is a purpose, because when you have 12 children, and I'm just going to put it out there, you birthed 12 children.
I had a lot of pushing. Everyone have their own birthday. No twins.
No
single
twins.
births.
All
Same
single
father.
births, same
Yeah.
father.
A lot of pushing.
A lot of pushing. And because I know inquiring minds wanted to know.
Yeah, I'm always asked.
Exactly. And that was because of God's purpose and plan for you. So when you got to number 4, because you said maybe 3 or 4, and then number 5. Well, let's say top 10. Number 10 came.
Whatever God says.
Okay, hey.
Although, wait, let me listen. I hope everyone is listening closely. Listen real good. We're done.
You're done.
Matter of fact, my son's nickname, one of them is Caboose. He is the Caboose baby. Yes, he is the end of the train.
I love it.
Chapter 44 is coming soon, week after next. So we want to travel and see the world. And the fact is, I am getting older, and the body doesn't do what it quite did when I was in my 20s.
Yes.
So yeah, we're done. But I'm blessed and I'm grateful, and I'm just honored to be called their mother.
Wow. And so as you started having more and more children, what had to shift in your mindset, because you, of course, were an only child, in terms of, your how you were going to run the household, what type of house you needed. Both of you are in the military, and I can only imagine, I can't really imagine, to be very honest with you, the things that were going through your mind in terms of the number of deployments, perhaps, that needed to occur, and what were going to happen with all of your children. And then what are your children doing? Because your oldest is how old?
He'll be 24 on the 26th of July.
And we know the baby is 10 weeks.
10 weeks.
And so what do you have to think about?
Oh, gosh.
Through all of that, in terms of living.
Pampers to still giving sound advice, even to your grown children.
Oh, no doubt.
Because they come back and they ask sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they, you have to let them fly and do what they do.
Right.
And we'll always be here to support them. It's a lot. One thing I do struggle with, people, and I was listening to this on the radio the other day, we think when we rest is when we're sleeping. Well, you can be asleep and not resting because your mind is still going.
Yes.
So that is something that I deal with because I'm constantly thinking. That's kind of how my mind works. What's on the plate for tomorrow? Who has what practice? What what resources do we need to make sure who's going to take who? How am I going to go from this place to this place and that place and support every child and be there? So those are the things I'm constantly thinking about, especially while Dad is gone. And then we leverage technology with him so he can be included. I'll send him what's going on. He'll post it on Facebook just so that he's still in the fold of what's happening. But it's a lot, but it's doable. I'm still sane. I do have gray hairs covered up right now. But no, it's very doable. And I just think if you have a supportive partner, number one, and a support group of some kind, it's doable. I've been very fortunate and blessed to have a lot of people that surround me that want to help. Like I'm going to Junior Olympics in North Carolina next week, and I have someone that's going to watch my little people. Okay. And then I'll have some people with me, and then my big kids can govern themselves.
Support you too.
But yeah, it's a lot.
So your husband came from, has six of them. Did he ever say how many children he wanted to have?
It was whatever you want, wife.
Okay.
But I will say, when my second son came along, he was like, "Oh, that's good."
Yeah.
And then he kind of subtly mentioned tying tubes or something like that. And then the people that was in my birthing room said the same thing. I said, "Everyone get out," because I didn't have that completion yet.
Yeah.
But sometimes we leapfrog. I may say, "Oh, I want another one," or he'll say, "Oh, I want another one," and we'll both say, "Oh, we want another one," and it's just and then we just let God lead, and then I did get the questions. "You're having another one?" I'm like, "Yes,
absolutely.
That's what married people do."
Yeah.
And I say it with a smile, and they're like, "Oh," I'm like, "Yeah." Kids are blessings, and I've been in a position where I've had people very close to me. They cannot have children.
I was going to talk about that exactly.
And I can wait to speak on that further, but it is a blessing, and I don't take it lightly.
So, are you ready to take a call?
Sure.
Because we do have a caller.
Okay.
So, hold on. Hello, caller. Welcome to Sisters in Company. Caller. You got us, Deezy? It's on. Caller. I can hear you. Yeah, we can hear the caller, but I don't think the caller can hear us. Do you want to call back, caller? Well, hopefully the caller can call back, because we can hear the caller, but the caller can't hear us. Okay, so, and so you all now have just naturally come together in terms of what you think is best for the family, and made a joint decision about whether or not you want to have more children. Right. And so, where are you? And I don't know if this is even appropriate, and you don't have to answer in terms of where are you with your military careers, because I heard you say that you all are ready to travel and do some things. So
we are. we continue. We are. Honestly, we're just letting God lead us with that. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, like right now I'm on maternity leave still, and I'm going to be very sad when I have to return to work. Mainly because I'm having to leave, particularly the baby. That's always hard to do. But I am anxious to put my boots on and get back in it because I love soldiering and I love what I do. So right now, as of today, we're pushing forward. We're going to see what God has in store for both of us and let Him order these steps.
Okay, we have another caller,
Okay.
so hold on. Hello, caller. Welcome to Sisters.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, this is Gwen, Leslie's mom.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for calling in.
I'm doing good, thank you.
Yes, what do you want to share?
I just want to let Leslie know I'm very proud of her and to keep up the good work and to know how much I love her.
Oh, thank
that's
you,
so
Mom.
sweet.
Don't break me down on air, please.
Well, Mom, we can always look at, the fruits of our mother's labor by the children. Because I tell you, you have birthed and raised such an awesome woman. And I thank her and I thank you for allowing her to be here today, because this is such an awesome and amazing topic. Because one of the things, and Leslie just talked about this, is, there's a lot of women on earth who can't have children. And for her to not be selfish, right? And to let God use her to be fruitful and multiply it's just a beautiful thing. So just bless you both.
Thank you.
Yes.
Love you, Mom.
Did you want to share
Hey,
anything
Buddha.
else?
Please rest and take your medicine.
Yes. We said a prayer for you.
And I appreciate that, and you guys continue on with the conversation, and I'll just continue to listen.
All right. Thank you. We may bring your grandbabies on in a minute
Thank
because
you.
they're doing
Bye-bye.
so well so that you can see them, okay, and hear them.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay. I think we have another caller.
Okay.
Let's just go ahead and just take the next call.
How'd I do, baby?
Let me drop it. Okay, so this caller is not back yet.
Okay.
But I thought that was important to say, because I think when you talked about that, some women, and I thought you talking about, the transparency that when your mom wanted to bring another child into the family, that there are children out here that
They need parents
need
too.
exactly. But you have to have that heart, right? You have to have that maternal instinct. You gotta know that this is what you want to do. And you talked about when you laid out mother, as an acronym, and you got to that H. That H is very important.
It is very important.
It's very important in that it's not just because you want to have a child, right? So that you can fit in with society norms. You got to have the heart to be able to love and nurture and pour into another human being. And so for you to be able to spread yourself like that, it's just incredible.
And it gets challenging. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
I sit and I think, okay, my oldest two girls, I did X, Y, Z. Now I have another set of girls. Am I doing the same thing? Now I have a third set of girls. Am I doing the same thing? And just making sure that each child gets that time with mom and dad, collectively and individually. And we're still trying to figure that out.
Yes.
Believe it or
And
not.
how are your children different? Because I think what you just
Oh
said is
my
so important,
gosh.
because they're all different.
I have to meet each one where they are.
Exactly.
You have the responsible one. You have the one that tests your gangster. I have one of those. Oh, my goodness. Woo. Y'all pray for me.
Yes.
You have your inquisitive one. You have your reserved one, quiet one. You have your rambunctious ones.
Yes.
You have your more emotional ones. I mean, I am truly a counselor, a teacher, a doctor, a
Yes.
lawyer sometimes, having to work out some of their issues. Now I'm teaching them conflict resolution.
Yes.
So now I'm to the point, do you want me to solve it? Or do
Right.
you guys want to solve it?
And I want to talk to you about that because I want to talk to you about discipline because you are an only child. And so, how did you learn to discipline so many? But we have another caller.
Okay.
So we'll take a call.
All right.
Hello, caller. Welcome to Sisters and Company.
Hello,
Hello.
it's Lucy Pearl.
Hi, Lucy Pearl. How are you?
I'm just fine.
Well,
I
thank
am
you for
just
calling
fine.
in.
I just want to say to Lieutenant Colonel, I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
I was a military wife with 4 sons. And girl, I can only imagine how you doing with 12. but I wanted to ask you, you have how many girls and how many boys?
7 girls, 1 for every day of the week. And 5 boys for the
sorry,
number of
repeat
grace.
that.
7 girls and 5 boys.
Oh, bless your heart. Bless your
Bless.
heart.
Yes.
Are you,
That's a blessing.
Thank
That's a
you.
blessing.
Thank you.
and your boy is an
Who's
oldest.
the
and-
disciplinarian in your family?
It depends on the circumstances. It depends. It depends. It goes back and forth. My husband and I, it's like an ebb and flow. Sometimes he's it. Sometimes I'm it. It really, honestly, it just depends. We don't have a cookie cutter. One person's going to be the disciplinarian. He has his strengths. I have mine. So depending on what's going on and depending on which child it is, we're very methodical in how we deal with them. If I would say generally, or if we had to tip the scale, I'm probably a little more sterner.
Really?
Yeah, they can get that sometimes. Daddy, please, especially those girls.
girls,
please,
yeah.
Daddy. Now I be giving them the side eye, like, no, I already told you no. But no, it definitely depends. It definitely depends on what's going on and who we're dealing with.
But so can he flip it and say the same thing
He
about you and the
probably
boys?
could. He probably could. Yep, he probably could.
Oh.
So you have any other comments or questions, Lucy Pearl?
No, I think I just want to know how many. Just want to say, haven't been a career Army wife myself, but I just want to say, continue to carry on and continue to soar with the eagles and don't wallow with the pigs.
Thank you so much
I'm
for
proud
that.
of you.
Thank
I am
you.
very proud of you.
Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
I like that.
And that's
Y'all
beautiful?
have a blessed day.
Well, thank you so much. And that's what's so unique about the story, in terms of not necessarily just the number of children, but the number of children.
Right.
You're an Army officer,
Yeah.
and you're an Army officer's spouse.
Yeah.
So that's very unique, I believe. And like you said, you thought it was
Very
just
unique.
We just do
normal.
what we do.
You just do what you do.
Yeah.
But when you look around, I can't imagine that there are lots of people that are in that same situation.
I think we're it. There are other service.
Hold on. Thank you, Lucy Pearl. Thank you for
All
calling.
righty. Y'all have a blessed day.
You too. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. There are other service members who have, I think, up to 13.
Oh, really?
But someone is home.
Somebody's home. Exactly.
So we're unique in terms. Both of us are still active duty and still serving. So I think that's what sets it.
Right.
Set it
And I
apart.
want to ask you about child care. So, so what is child care like for you? So tell me, how many school-age children do you have right now? Because I know you have.
I'm getting ready to have 7. Hope goes to school in the fall.
Okay, so how many elementary?
So she'll be pre-K, and then we have, what grades? 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th, 10th, 12. 12, yeah.
Because that's
and
6.
then 2 in college, and then my son who's rehabbing from his accident.
Right, and so we're going to talk about him, make sure he's okay,
Mm-hmm.
make sure he's not left out of the picture because talk about that. So
it's getting ready to be 7. So at home it'll be little Lance, who's getting ready to be 2, and then baby Jeremiah. And hope she'll start school from 8:30 to 1:30, so she'll be there most of the day.
okay, and so that's a good deal.
It works out. Absolutely.
Exactly, because you have some that are older who are in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure they have their life, and then you have the ones in elementary school. You don't have any middle schoolers.
I do. I'm going to have 2.
Two.
So every grade level.
Okay, every grade
We have
level.
it.
And then, of course, the schools have after-school care and
Well,
activities.
to talk about that, someone recommended to me years ago, oh, you should get a nanny. I thought, oh, no, I can't get a nanny. That's expensive. It's actually way cheaper than daycare.
Oh.
You get more. So just to educate those that are
Yes.
listening, in my opinion, you get more bang for your buck when you have a nanny because you can do more negotiation and things of that nature. And it's more one-on-one. My kids don't get as sick. They're not picking up as many habits.
And they're coming to the home.
They're coming to the home. We've been nannying since 2006.
Wow.
So I have not used daycare. I did for 5 minutes with Hope, and that didn't last long.
Okay.
So we've had a nanny over since 2006.
Good for you.
Yeah,
And you get one for all of them.
Oh, one nanny, and she covers everything. I have a detailed job description of what needs to be done. We try to make it as easy as possible. Basically, if you just follow the schedule and you have some organizational skills, you should be fine. And you shouldn't feel like, oh my gosh. And the focus is really the little ones.
Yes.
Because my big ones, they know to come home, do your homework, do what you got to do.
And they're there to help
they
too,
help
right?
they help
and
the
to
younger
be,
ones.
and to be observant.
Yeah, absolutely.
To have a
I say,
watchful
I tell the big one, you want to eat dinner? Great. You hold your plate.
Exactly.
You take care of little person over here, and then you can get back to your plate. So I empower all of my kids to take care of each other.
So those of you who are just coming on, if you just want to know what we're talking about, this dynamic woman that we have here, Lieutenant Colonel Leslie Lattimore Lorefields, 12 children, and as she said, all single births, no twins, same husband. Of course, she's an Army officer, and she is married to a lieutenant colonel in the Army. And she is a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority
Incorporated. Yes.
Exactly. She's an only child by her mom. She has 2 brothers on her dad's side, and I want to talk about that relationship, where they are, and talk about, how do you and your husband carve out time for yourselves? Because we know that you talked about how you carve out time for you, but how do you carve out time for yourself?
Well, right now, of course, he's deployed, but he
Yes.
did come home for 3 weeks, and we went to the Blues Jazz Supper Club,
Yes,
to
love
a
that
comedy
place.
show,
Yes.
and something else we did. Well, we took the kids to Hershey Park, but they were with us, so
Yes.
it wasn't really him and I.
Yes.
But we did go on one date. We were
Yes.
able to squeeze it in. We are not the best at that, to be honest. We live for the kids.
Right.
So we said when he comes back, there will be a Friday or whatever day of the week that is on the calendar, unless the sky is falling. And even if the sky is falling, that time will be carved out for us. So that's something that he and I both have to be more intentional about doing. We've already started our bucket list of things we want to do, because eventually those jokers are going to be gone out of the house. And he wants to still know who I am. I want to still know who he is. And we've heard stories that
Yes.
people be together for 20, 30 years. And
Yes.
then when the kids are gone, all of a sudden they're divorced. I mean,
That's
and
the
not to
reality.
dampen the mood, but I want to be real
No,
about
that's the
what's going
reality.
on. So that is something that he and I definitely, we're revamping our strategies now. So even when he comes home in January, hit the ground running, go on a date immediately.
And so let's talk about your oldest son, and then we're going to take a break,
Okay.
because I want to know, do your children know that they're from a big family? But let's talk about your oldest son, because I know that he was in a accident. Talk to our audience about
Well,
that.
Avery was in a vehicular accident that almost took his life, October 31st of 2018. He is truly a miracle walking this earth. He sustained an injury. I want to say it's called a diffusal axle injury, DAI for short. All of you guys can Google that. But typically there are 3 outcomes. Either the person passes away, or they remain forever in a coma, or they wake up from a coma but they're in a vegetative state. I am very happy and pleased to say my son is walking, talking,
My
eating.
God.
He actually is with his girlfriend down back in North Carolina, doing his therapy, rehabbing right as we speak. So
is
he is
good.
truly a miracle walking this earth. If people did not believe that there is a God, I tell you what, you have to look at my son, because that wasn't supposed to happen.
And that's what I thought would be a great way to transition to the commercial. And you see I wrote down on my paper, your faith. You know, how does your faith fit into all that you have to do, as well as having a son who went through such a traumatic experience?
There's no option with that. We have to have it. Day 2, they were saying, giving us the option of taking him off the vent. Now, initially, when my husband got the news, he waited to tell me. Then eventually he told me. And you're scared. You're like, oh, my gosh, you know. We changed that around. I told God, plain and simple, like I'm talking to you now. I said, God, I am not ready to bury my son. I need you to turn that thing around.
Girl,
and I
it.
believe that words have power. I believe that what
say
you
it.
speak into the atmosphere absolutely manifests itself. I believe that where you are in life has a lot to do with your faith and what you believe God can do. I'm a living witness. Just like school. I didn't know about going to school and saying, okay, God, you know, I need you to make this work. And not only did I go to school, but I didn't pay for school. He can do it. Myself and 6 of my children, we were in a vehicular accident almost 4 years ago. And the car was going 70. We hit a median. We went airborne. We landed. We flipped 5 times. 5 for the number of grace.
Yes.
All windows shattered. Airbags deployed. All 7 of us walked away. And
God.
several are sitting right here, right now, and can tell the story.
My God.
So God he's good. He's able. He can do it. And, you know, I didn't come on here to preach
No,
or
but
nothing like that.
but let
I
me
didn't
tell
even
you
know
something.
this was not part of my
No,
thought process.
Don't apologize for that,
But
because that's
he-
the way
he
I
is-
live
he's
my
real.
life, and I believe it. I believe that words have power.
They do.
I was talking to a friend the other day. She told me something about somebody that was going through something, and I told her, I said, change your words. I live my life by that.
Yes.
And it disturbs me when people say things out of their mouths that's defeatist, or they put people down. I was talking to somebody yesterday. I said, but what we're not going to do is we're not going to put somebody down.
That's right.
And we're not going to be judgmental about somebody else.
That's right.
It's just not going to happen,
Right.
not in my presence, right? And so when people are negative with their words, it just does something to me, because words have power,
Yes.
and as long as I'm on earth, I want to lift you up,
Right.
right? I want to speak the power of God's word into somebody's
Yes,
life,
yes.
because we got enough negativity going on in the world. And so I just thought that was a great way to transition into our short commercial. And I am so proud of her babies over there. We're gonna bring some of the babies on, and see if Dawn wants to come on and say hello. If not, no big deal. But then, because the show, we only have a few more minutes left anyway, and when we come back, we'll close out the show.
Okay.
Thank you all for tuning in. Just hang in there, and we'll be right back. Welcome to Sisters in Company Talking About It live show. Hosted by me, Dr. Sharon Cradle, and Sherelle Higgins. We will be discussing intriguing, intricate, inspirational, informative, and intelligent topics with our individual twists and talents.
We will present real stories, real solutions, and engage in real talk.
So we invite you to be our company every Sunday afternoon at 3:00 p.m. as we focus on transcendent thinking that will move you forward. You become the company you keep.
What company do you keep? Oh yeah, we are biological sisters by way of the south side of Chicago. So get ready to keep company with us and our guests as we talk about it.
were just gonna do the show today. You want to hold the mic? Okay.
Look at me.
Hey, y'all, this is just amazing. This is just some of the 12.
Oh,
And they
damn
are
it, Mom.
absolutely beautiful. Can you all see the 10-week-old? So what we want
Hi.
to do is we want to introduce them. Okay, so they can hear you now.
Hi.
Wait a minute, hold on.
I absolutely love them. If you all are not on
Okay,
ListenVisionLive.com, you have got to go on so you can see these beautiful, beautiful God's gift to the
best.
earth children.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
we're gonna let Hope introduce herself. So tell our audience your name and how old you are.
4.
So your name is Hope, and how old are you?
4.
You're 4. Oh my
And I
goodness.
turned 4 from my doctor appointment
Oh,
because
you
I was
turned-
sick.
Oh, so you're feeling better now.
She
Mhm.
was in the hospital on her
Oh,
birthday.
you were in the hospital on your birthday?
Yes.
I'm so glad you feel so much better. Are you proud of your mommy as much as we are?
Yes.
Oh, and what's your name, sweetheart? Yes. Now, we're going to let you hold the mic.
I'm Elijah.
Talk up loud. I know you talk
Big boy,
loud.
come on.
I'm Elijah.
And how old are you?
9,
And what grade are you going to?
4th.
You're going to 4th. Oh, so you're the oldest that's in the studio with us today. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Are you proud of your mom as much as we are?
Yes.
We love your mommy. Pass the mic to, oh, you have one right in front of you.
Layla,
Speak into that
introduce
mic.
yourself.
Oh, that's my sister. My name is Layla. I am 7 years old, and I'm going to the 2nd grade.
Oh, my goodness. You're going to the 2nd grade. How cool is that? And then we have these babies back here.
Say hi, Lance.
Lance.
Say hi.
Hi, just wave
Say hello. Say hi. Wait.
How old is Lance?
Say I'm almost 2 August 1st.
He's almost 2 August 1st. He's almost 2 August
Oh, and
1st.
you're talking. Oh, my goodness. How cool is that?
He can talk because he's big.
Okay, he can't talk because he's big?
He can.
Oh, he
but
can.
Yes, but I just saw him grow up when he was a baby.
You saw him grow up when he was a baby?
Yes.
Yeah, he grew up fast too, didn't he?
It was taking a long time.
And then we have the 10-week-old.
Yes.
Oh my, say hi.
Say hello. My name is Jeremiah, and I'm 10 weeks.
So, Lance, can I ask you a question? No,
This
not
is
Lance.
Elijah. This is
Elijah, I'm getting the names mixed up. So, Elijah, so do you realize that you have a lot of siblings? And so, what about your friends? Do your friends have a lot of siblings like you have?
My friend Elijah does.
Your friend Elijah does? And how many sisters and brothers does he have?
He has 4 other sisters and brothers.
So how cool is it to have so many sisters and brothers? How cool is that?
Really cool
Why? Why is it cool?
because they can help.
Talking to the mic.
Because they can help more.
They can help with.
They can help with the house cleaning.
So do you have chores? You have
Yeah.
house chores?
No.
So what do you?
My nana told me I have to do the dishes and the trash and the sweeping.
So who's your nana?
My nana is my mom's daughter.
Your mom's mom
Oh, so that's your grandmother. So
that
your
called in.
Yeah,
Stop.
so she told
Stop.
you the chores you had
Stop.
to do?
Stop.
As he pulled her hair.
Yeah. So what are your house chores? What do you have to do?
So I have to clean my room with my suit, and then I have to pick up my clothes and then put them in the laundry thing.
So you have to clean up too. Very good. And what about you? What do you have to do at home to help mommy?
Help with the baby out and clean up all the mess that we did.
Yes, very good. Make sure you clean up behind yourself so that mommy won't be but so tired, right?
Yeah. So mad.
And so mad. No, we don't want to make mommy mad. So do you all help your big sisters and brothers keep the house clean?
Yes.
Wait a minute, hold on. We remember we're on television, so we have to finish talking. We're almost done. So, do you get paid to help clean up the house? Is that your allowance?
Sometimes because my nana gave this to me because I helped her out at her house.
Oh, so your nana gave you that when you went to her house to help. But do you get money to help your mommy and daddy clean
Sing it
up?
out.
I have my mommy has my money from today.
I will make sure I
So what did you earn money for from today?
Watching the baby for almost the whole ride.
Oh, watching the baby the whole ride?
Almost.
Almost. And how long was the ride?
8 hours.
No, 7 hours. 7
Good job.
hours.
Wonderful. Do you all know how special you are to be able to have sisters and brothers?
Yes, but I had to get a lot of sisters and brothers. But I have 5. I have 5 brothers
You have
and
5
0
brothers.
sisters.
Zero.
0 sisters. You have 6 sisters.
Mhm.
Yes, you do. And is she the youngest sister?
She's the baby girl.
You're the baby girl.
But I second baby girl. She's the first baby girl. I'm the 4th baby girl.
Okay. So you used to be the baby girl. Now you're the baby girl. And so you all are very close in age.
And I was a baby because I was a baby girl, the smallest.
And you were but you are. So what I love about the relationship is that you all love each other. You all
Yes,
take care of each other.
but I have to take care of all my family. Or if I don't get family, I would just live by myself.
Well, you're supposed to help take care of your family, and I can imagine having 12 sisters and 11 sisters and brothers that you would
But
never be alone.
But I've been getting hungry when I get little.
Well, do you know how to cook?
Yeah,
No, do you know how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
I don't
No.
know, but I know how to cook.
What do you know
But
how to cook?
eggs and bacon.
Eggs and bacon? Okay.
She can't cook that. That's only for grown-ups.
That's only for grown-ups? And you don't know how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
I know how to cook eggs, bacon, and oat milk and pie.
Oh, you know how to make a pie?
That's news to me.
Mom said that's news to
But
her.
I can make everything like I make. I can in my room. I can make doors. And then I can ask my dad and mom to make me food.
Okay, and mommy and daddy makes you food, but you have sisters and brothers that are older that help too. So I'm
But
so proud of you all.
But they help everyone, like in my family. They help my baby brother Jeremiah, Lance, me, Elijah, Darius, and my mom. And
You
my
miss
dad,
me,
and
Hope.
Layla.
And so I love the fact
But
that you all are
I
talking
had
about
to help
helping.
them. I had to help Jolanda and Avery.
Right, but I love that you all are talking about helping each other because that's what families are supposed to do.
Yeah, they're supposed to do. White people don't help people.
Oh, I'm not sure what she said. but people are supposed to help each other in families, and right, and so we have a big family that's going to help each other, and you all are going to love each other, and I really, really appreciate how well behaved you all were since you came on the show.
I have to behave at the movie.
Well, this is as real as it gets, and that's why we said when they came to the show, we didn't want to stop
My
them. We didn't want to
sister's
tell them to be
name.
quiet. We didn't want to tell them anything because this is how life is for the Lorfos every day. So we just want to, we're about to
Life.
close out. And is there any parting words that you want to
I wanna-
leave for our guests? Do you want to share something, Elijah, before Mommy says something?
I want to thank everyone for to let me come here.
That's so sweet. You're welcome. And I thank you for coming.
I would just say, just stay encouraged, and when you find yourself tired and weary, just keep pushing and ask God to sustain you through whatever it is you have going on, and He absolutely will. And I'm available if anybody have questions on Facebook.
Right, and you can always contact her on Facebook. So thank you all. As you very well know, the show goes by so quickly, and we just thank you all for the continued support, and we will see you on next Sunday. And we're asking for traveling mercies for Sherelle and her family as they come back from the family reunion. And we will see you all on next Sunday. Stay cool and hydrate. Bless you.
Welcome to Sisters in Company Talking About It live show. Hosted by me, Dr. Sharon Cradle and Sherelle Higgins. We will be discussing intriguing, intricate, inspirational, informative, and intelligent topics with our individual twists and talents.
We will present real stories, real solutions, and engage in real talk.
So we invite you to be our company every Sunday afternoon at 3:00 p.m. as we focus on transcendent thinking that will move you forward. You become the company you keep.
What company do you keep? Oh yeah, we are biological sisters by way of the South Side of Chicago.